All right. Moving on to the Charlotte Hornets, the house that Jordan built. Uh, it's got some holes in it. Uh, the Hornets, I think the biggest outgoing player was Nicholas Batum. What did they do? They stretched and waived him.
Yeah.
So his contract will still count against their cap for the next, I think it's 4 or 5 years. I think it's 4 years, in line with the Gordon Hayward contract, which is 4 years, 120 million. Very controversial. Other than that, they've maintained their core, but then also signed LaMelo Ball with the first round pick, third overall. In terms of on-court play, I think they will have gotten a bit better actually. And with the way that as we've said, the play-in tournament works and things, I think they have a very good chance of getting into that play-in tournament with the roster that they have, injuries permitting. But we got to talk about the Gordon Hayward contract, I guess. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was surprised. But I don't, as much as I was shocked and surprised at the figure, when you look at the situation there, as a small market team, they've managed to sign a former All-Star in free agency.
Yep,
now,
the biggest name.
You can say he's not what he was. He averaged 17-ish points per game last season as the fourth option on the Celtics.
Say third.
Third, fourth. He potentially could do more than that, and now he'll be playing for a team where he will be a much higher option than that. Playing with, I guess the players that he's playing with aren't as good, so that might affect him. He'll be able to have the ball in his hands a bit more over there. But for him, I'm sure the security was important, giving up the 34 million for next year in order to sign the longer deal with more security. And they just wouldn't, their chances of signing any player like this was slim to none anyway. And their chances of improving their team through free agency will always be slim to none. So you have to do something with the cap space at a certain point when you're a team like this. So that'll be one to watch, whether he can stay healthy. And then just the guard rotation with Ball, Rozier, and where is he? Devontae Graham. How they make those three work, I think, will be interesting. What do you guys think?
I think what do you do if you're a small market team? You can't all of a sudden become the best team in the NBA. You have to do it slowly. This is a good move. They're not going to fight for the championship this season. They're not going to fight for the championship next season and probably the following season. But you have a good rookie in Ball. I see a lot of potential in him, and Hayward can still give you 20-25 points a game. So the fact that next year you have Hayward, somebody else might feel enticed to come to the Hornets. Let's not forget that this team is run by the one and only. So that's always a good thing, isn't it?
I'm on the fence with Michael Jordan when it comes to ownership. I love it in one regard because obviously he's one of the greatest players of all time. But as an owner, he just disappoints me. There's nothing in all these kind of tenure that's kind of been symbolic of his playing kind of status. But I think ownership is a different ball game, so I don't come down on him too hard. I think LaMelo Ball is probably a good pickup in the fact that he can just distribute, and he's not a great shooter. He's in great form, and he can just distribute, and he can bring the fans in. Gordon Hayward will bring the fans in, and I think it's just about bums on seats. But whether we get bums on seats this season is another subject.
Exactly.
So I think from one aspect is a fan draw, but it's just is it beyond their control? So I think they'll be a team to watch, but whether they'll do any real damage in the East, that remains to be seen. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that the drafting Ball was a move by Jordan to sell more jerseys. So I'm not at all on the. I'm no longer on the Ball hype train again. There you go. I'll say hype train again. Actually, I never was, but so I don't know. I think the only thing exciting in Charlotte that would be happen is probably the one-on-one between MJ and Bold Senior.
LeVar, baby.
If we get to see that, then I'm all good. Like, apart from that, I don't care about the Hornets.
I'm eager to see where LeVar's season ticket seats are when we do start having fans again. I get the feeling Jordan's gonna be on one side and LeVar's gonna be all the way on the other side.
Dude, if Jordan's clever and he wants that spotlight on the Hornets, you put LeVar Ball behind you and then just talk shit the entire time. Get him to talk shit and then get the cameras on it. That's great. Great content.
They can compare trainers and see who's the best. BBB or Jordan Brand?
That'll last a while, won't it?
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of exciting teams, we've got the Chicago Bulls.
Oh shit! Already? Oh wow! Oh man! All right, you ready? All right. So, oh god, where do I start? Let's talk about everyone who's escaped the Bulls. They obviously fired Jim Boylan after what felt like an eternity as the head coach. And I think the biggest loss is Chris Dunn to the Hawks. So it's hard to say that with a straight face, that the biggest loss is Chris Dunn. So obviously, actually, on the counter part of that, their greatest signing is getting Billy Donovan, as a head coach. I think that's a great move. Somebody that understands basketball and loves basketball. That's going to be great. They did get Garrett Temple from, where's he from?
Brooklyn.
He was in the Nets, yeah. He was in Brooklyn. Who else they got? They re-signed a bunch of no ones and drafted Marko Simonovic, who they thought was a 45-year-old guy out of Europe. So they had a very average season last year, if we want to say. I think they didn't make the playoffs, I think, for a while now. That'll remain the same, I think, for this season. The X factor, I guess, is Billy Donovan as a new head coach. See how he gets to coach. What's his face? We talked about him earlier on.
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine.
Yeah. See
another good dunker.
Get along. Yeah. Another Aaron Gordon. And then how do they deal with the loss of Chris? Of Chris Dunn? Like, how do you replace somebody who's averaging 2 points a game? Who knows? So I think Bulls would be a bottom of the East. Bottom of the East.
There is.
Cheers.
In Chris Dunn's defense, he was a good defender and actually almost single-handedly, when he was on the floor, raised their defensive efficiency a few points. So they're going to be very rough to watch on that end of the floor without him. But I'll leave it at that. Guys, feast on this interesting plateau that's been set for you.
Not much more to add. I think it'd be good to see Zach LaVine, dunking. He had one really good game when he scored like six or seven 3-pointers.
Charlotte,
and it was a beater.
Yeah, that's great.
A very hard game, obviously. So that's it.
I think with Chicago, it's just discipline. You know what I mean? Like, Miami's got the discipline. You know what I mean? Chicago have just got they've got no core, no center. You know what I mean? No backbone. They've got a lot of players, like talent-wise, which you could think on paper they could be good, but they haven't got that kind of that drive to take them to the next level where teams take them seriously. I was watching that game where Klay Thompson hit like 15 3-pointers against them, and they were just like, it was painful. I mean, like, have some respect for yourself, guys. You know what I mean? It's just one of those ones. Like, get their mums to the stadium and hit them with their bags. Son, come on! It's so bad. So it's just who's got it? Who's got that heart to drive them to the next level? Who knows?
I think I like the not rookie anymore, sophomore. Kobe White.
Yeah.
He's cool. I like the way he looks on the court in terms of body language, and I think he had a good, solid rookie season. But I want to see how he evolves with the better coach. I guess that's the one thing if you want to look for something out of the Bulls this season.
They really need a playmaker, and he took on some of those duties last season. But it remains to be seen whether that's his game or not. They definitely need a playmaker over there. But with the young guys, Wendell Carter and Markkanen still over there, I think Billy Donovan's a good coach for a young team, which is definitely not what Jim Boylan was. So, moving on to another great team, the New York Knickerbockers.
God, I'm busy. Oh shit. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna stick to my Excel spreadsheet right there. Players out. I'm about to drop some names. You probably never heard of them. So got rid of the head coach Mike Miller. Not the ones you think it is. It's not Mike Miller, the player. It's Mike Miller.
It's not the Mike Miller.
It's another Mike Miller. So we didn't know who he was before. We don't know who he is now. We don't care. He's gone. They lost Maurice Harkless. Cool. Bobby Portis. Wayne Ellington. Don't care. Taj Gibson. Yeah, all right. And Alonzo Trier. So big names, cleaned out. I think the biggest signing was Leon Rose as the new president. And then Tommy T as a head coach, former Bulls. You know who it is, Thibodeau. And then they got a bunch of solid guys in there with MKG. I'm not going to say his name. You can say it, Dave. You like to say his name. Michael Kidd
Gilchrist.
Austin Rivers. That's a solid move there. They got Alec Burks from free agency. Nerlens Noel. And then they resign Peyton as a point guard. And then interestingly, they've drafted. I think they've drafted interesting. Just say that word twice in the space of 10 seconds. Obi Toppins at number 8, and Emmanuel Quickly, I think further down in the first round. So they'll be interesting. I think Toppins is a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the reactions and then analysis that were made on him. He's the oldest player in the draft. Can't really defend that well, but he's sort of reminiscent of a younger Stoudemire. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
So we'll see. I saw a bunch of highlights of his on YouTube, and it looks quite cool. He looks like his body is ready for the NBA, certainly. So that would be exciting to Knicks fans. So I think the X factors. The X factors is get back to him, but it's Rose and how he's going to rebuild, from the inside out the franchise. Because I think everybody knows that the Knicks were a bit of a massive joke in the last 20 years. And I think he's trying to rebuild the image within the NBA. So that's what I'm saying. The signings he's done, the players he's brought in, and the coach that he's put in place, they're all solid. I think he's trying to make sure that there's no clowns on the team this season. They probably won't do the playoffs. I've put them second from the bottom, top of the Bulls. Not because I don't think they'll stink or anything. I think they're just going to try to put something in place that's a bit more coherent, and sign maybe players that are not stars or former stars. Why are you laughing, Dave? Why are you laughing?
I mean, face. You put them second bottom of the East and said they won't stink. I mean,
no. In a way of like, when you get J.R. Smith,
it's gonna at least smell down there.
A, that's what she said, and then B, I think they're trying to build something interesting there. I think they're trying to be a bit more serious with who they're signing. And like I say, they won't get somebody like J.R. Smith that's going to come in on the court without his shirt on or something, and start checking threes with 25 seconds to go on the possession. It's his it's interesting. I'm not excited because I'm not excited anymore by whatever the Knicks are trying to do, but I'm intrigued. I think that's what we can. That's the word I'm going to use for them. What do you guys think?
Well, I've
Are you
got a solution for it.
Are you biased?
I've got a solution. There you go. Jeremy Lin's looking for a team. There you go.
Oh,
I
for
think
fuck.
he can bring it back. Lin sanity. Hey, you know, it's been 10 years. Let's bring it back. 15 years, blimey.
Wow.
The Knicks, yeah, like you said, they're just not the number one. They're just not a hot destination anymore. You know, they're like a big market team, and nobody wants to go there. Strange. It's why is that? You know what I mean? Obviously, is it the owner? Is it the ownership? Is it, you know, the performance of the team? You know, it's a combination of everything. But it's just, you know, just need the right couple of players to just have confidence in that environment that can turn it around, because, you know, it's a place that everyone wants to go to. Everyone wants to go to New York, but, you know, they probably prefer to go to Brooklyn now rather instead.
Yeah, and that's where you're right. It's the ownership. I think it's being associated with Dolan. It's still a massive, you know, it's still a big no-no among players, and you know, the big names are going to the Nets. Why? It's because Dolan's not there. You know, it's just that's simple as that. They don't have more money. They don't have more history than the Knicks. It's just, and that's to my point. That's what I was saying. This, I think Rose is trying to change the overall image of the team. I don't think we'll see any big names for the next couple of years unless we get Westbrook, which I don't think that's going to be a thing. But like, yeah. By the way, I've got something in case Westbrook signs for the Knicks. I've got my backup plan already in place. So, you know, we'll see next couple of weeks
Right.
if that happens.
Jose?
The last good thing the Knicks did was sign Patrick Ewing back in '86. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Rivers, Austin Rivers. It's a good player. Yeah, bottom of the table again. It's a very much a team that it needs some rebuilding done. I'm gonna stop there.
For sure.